I'm going to call the meeting of the Library Board to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, both Mr. Gabby and Mr. Garcia are absent this evening. All other members are present. Notice to the public: any member of the public wishing to address the governing board on a topic within the subject matter jurisdiction of the district but not on the agenda may do so during the public comment period identified in this agenda. By law, subjects not on the agenda cannot be acted upon by the board except to briefly respond, clarify, or refer to staff for review and presentation at a future meeting. The board president will recognize you for public comment on matters on the agenda at the appropriate time. Correspondence?
None.
Consent agenda. I have one. Public comment. There is no public. Guests and presentations. None. Director's report.
Okay, we have an upcoming event that I hope will get a good turnout. January 21st, we have a local author. His name is Elizabeth Kaler Pentecoff. She's going to be at the Dixon High School Theater. She wrote a book called The Missing Kennedy, Rosemary Kennedy and the Secret Bonds of Four Women. The author's aunt was a nun who served as a caretaker for years for Rosemary, and the author knew her. So she based the book on that. So
Oh, great.
I'm hoping that'll get a good turnout. We redid the steps to the Carnegie. They were all cracking and not looking very, very good, and we redid those.
Did you also stripe them for emergency exit? They had some they had yellow stripes on them at the very edges.
Oh, they did?
I thought they did, yep, for emergency exit. You're talking about the emergency exit steps, right? Those?
Yeah, the steps that were the main
Big
steps to the
yeah,
Carnegie.
the main entrance, that's no longer the main entrance.
Right.
Right, yeah. I think we had some sort of striping there. You might want to check just with the fire department or somebody, because I thought they had an issue about rails, and I thought that those steps were striped, but I'm not. It's a little tiny yellow strip stripes on the end.
And not that I've ever seen
Okay,
since I started.
maybe I'm wrong. Thought they were there. Okay.
We got all new interior paint for the Carnegie. That project's done. I had Pedro put in a concrete pad in the alleyway, so now we can move the trash cans back to the concrete pad.
Okay.
And he's also put up a gate there too, so it'll limit access into the alleyway. We were having problems with people.
Well, there was a gate there, but that gate wasn't working or didn't work?
The gate had broken. He was
Okay.
able to fix it and weld it, so it works okay now,
Okay.
so we don't have to get a new gate. But we had problems with one person that we thought was probably sleeping in there because there was
Oh, wow.
human detritus in the alleyway, and some problems with graffiti too.
So
So
the gate that faces onto the main street, that has a lock on it, right, doesn't it?
yeah,
Is there, none of the exits to the Miller building, no, those are outside the gate too, right?
Yeah, those are
All
outside
those
the
exits
gate.
are outside the gate, so there's no fire exits that empty into that gated section of the alley, correct?
no.
Yeah, okay.
But a lot of our electrical stuff is right
Right.
through there too, so we don't want people.
All
to have
those
access to
meters
that.
are
Yeah.
back there, yeah.
Yeah, and I also had him put a cage over the water main that's out there, because we had people turn that off a couple
Oh, that's
times.
good.
Good.
We shifted the teen zone around to take advantage of the windows, and it's much brighter than it was now, so it looks better.
Great.
I got a contract for digitizing the Dixon Tribune. I had one of our attorneys drop a contract. I've gotten a oral agreement from the Tribune, but I haven't got them to actually sign the contract yet. I keep nagging them, but I haven't heard back from them. And the fire detection system for the archives is going to be installed next week. They did part one of that, and we had to have an electrician come in and add some wiring, and then they're gonna have the whole thing working by next week.
Great.
That's that for
Okay,
activities and improvements.
great, thank you. Ongoing business, update on the Miller Building.
We had a couple guys come out last week, an electrical engineer, and he looked at the building and says that everything's going to have to be replaced to bring it up to code. He didn't have any kind of estimate as to what that would cost, but he said he didn't really see anything that was salvageable as far as the electrical goes.
Oh, okay.
We had a couple of guys from A2R come out twice, and they've completed doing drawings of the whole building, so that.
As-built?
Yeah,
Okay.
so at least we'll have that. And that's pretty much all that's going on with Miller. at this
What are we into them for now?
We had the contract that was approved for 55,000. He said it wouldn't be that much because, of the environmental people that came out last year and looked at the building, and the structural people that came out that didn't have anything to do with them. So he said it wouldn't cost it, it cost the 55. So I think right now we've only paid around 6,000 for the work that they've done so far.
But we expect this will be more, though, than the work that we've just asked him to do.
Yeah, they still have quite a few things that
Yeah.
they're planning on doing,
Okay,
until we get to the point where we actually will ask for input from the public and staff and
okay.
try and come up with a real plan.
All right. I will entertain a motion to move the first item, 11A, to table it to our next meeting when we have a fuller board.
Oh, I think it's 11B.
Is 11B, the retroactive, the approval of the extension. Do we want to do them both at the same time, or do
Yeah,
we want to?
actually, it should be considered at the same time because
and B, yeah.
the way it was written up includes the administrative leave.
So let's table A and B until we have more folks here. Can I get a motion for tabling A and B? I'll move. Can I get a second?
Well, I'll second, but I was originally thinking only of tabling B, but that's okay. I think it's more appropriate probably to consider them both at the same time anyway.
Great, there's a motion and
By the way, just one comment on that, even though we're gonna table it. I assume the only change to the existing agreement at this point is just the change of dates, is that correct? The agreement that you provided here?
The change of dates and then the administrative leave was part of
The
it.
So you
inclusion
did
of
change
B.
that language?
right?
Yeah,
Okay, that I think you ought to highlight for the board then.
okay.
And then, maybe I'm misunderstanding this. Hang on one second, I apologize.
It's at the bottom of the first page of the amendment, section 2, where it discusses 4C.
I see. And you underlined it, so that's how you highlighted the change. Okay. But then you have at the top of the next page, the district shall not be
right.
obligated to compensate the library director. So your two sentences are really in conflict with each other.
But doesn't the second part just apply upon termination of the agreement?
Well, but what you've written here is you've said, paid leave may be accumulated during the term of the agreement. But then you say we're not obligated to compensate you for the paid and accrued leave. So what happens if you come to the end of your employment and you still have leave time, administrative leave time that you haven't taken yet? Is the district obligated or not obligated? I think there's some ambiguity there,
Okay.
potentially conflict. But I also think that that is different than B, because B said, your agenda item B was, are we approving retroactive leave for what time you've already missed? Now you're asking us to approve prospective changes about paid administrative leave. I mean, my own opinion is, and again, this is gonna be forwarded, but just to put my comments on the record, I don't believe we should change the language. You either use it or lose it. So in the future, you use it or lose it, and there's no reason to change the language. The only thing you're asking this board to do is consider whether they should pay you retroactively for the time you didn't use, which right now you've technically lost. So my feeling is I don't know why this is even being proposed as a change, and the agenda item doesn't reflect the change that you've got here. This is a change to make paid administrative leave prospectively an obligation. Your agenda item is to pay you retroactively for leave you've already lost, okay?
Okay,
So, my own opinion is the contract should only be to change the dates of employment. If not, you need to make sure you make clear to all the members of the board that you've made other changes in this agreement as to whether they want to approve those changes or not. The other thing is I don't, you know, you've got this one additional year commencing April 8, 2816, ending April 7th, 2017. Have you already been operating 6 months without a contract?
yeah, it seems that way. It looks like
Why
it
didn't
should
this
have
come
been
to
renewed
us
in
sooner
April.
then?
No, it should have been brought up sooner.
Okay, if that's the case, what I would do at this point is extend the term to, you know, October or November of this year and make it an 18-month agreement as opposed to 1 year, because you've already gone past, you've already served 6 months without a contract, okay?
Right.
By the way, that would be another reason, I hate to say it, why you shouldn't be paid retroactive leave, because there's not even a contract obligation anymore to pay you leave for those 6 months. But the point is, that's for the next board to decide,
Right.
okay?
Well, it was never my intention to be paid for that leave. I was just hoping to be able to take that time off.
And I do think, Steve, when you, and I know you've run this by the attorneys, but, and we're not technically discussing this tonight, but I would just make a suggestion that it does, your item B is confusing and potentially in conflict with your item A, because you do say in here, paid administrative leave may not be accumulated, and the district shall not be obligated to compensate the director for accrued unused paid administrative leave upon termination of this agreement. I would probably make that clearer. And I think you can probably work with Scott or whomever to make that clearer. If you intend that your amendment is that you would like to have it be accumulated, but you don't intend for the district to pay that out, I think the language can be clearer than that.
Okay.
Because to me, that says that you don't want it to be accumulated and we don't have to pay you out. And then it says here that it can be accumulated for the term of the agreement, but we don't have to pay you out upon termination. So I just think that that's confusing and maybe in conflict with what you're asking. I understand what you're asking. I'm not sure it's clear here.
Okay,
So maybe just a little cleanup and bringing it back, both the items back,
all right.
when we have a larger board. So there's a motion and a second. So all those in favor of tabling these two items, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. And we'll move on to the approval of the minutes for August 11th. Take a minute to look at them. And I'll take a motion when you're ready.
I'll move.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. And that's our last item, so the meeting is adjourned.